Since we are talking about nature's boundaries, let me just initially place questions to both of you. If I understood right, both the presentations, I would say we have reached the boundary for oceans, for at least for catching, for depletion of stocks, but we are far from reaching the limits for land food production because there are many options still at hand. So if you think a world much hotter with climate change, let's say 4 degrees warmer world, would you say, Sabine, that your conclusions still hold to you? And Ulf, would you say in this world, which much more ocean acidity, is there any tipping point already reached?
Thank you very much. It's a very good question. So what's coming forth from the research that we're doing at ESM is that even in those climate scenarios that you saw that do represent a climate which is much hotter and where there is a lot less precipitation, if you do allow for flexibility in the production systems, there is actually scope to remain within the planetary boundaries. They are for sure pushed, that's not a question, but there are options both on the technology side, but also on the side of adjusting lifestyles and basically on the consumption side. So I wouldn't be as pessimistic, I would give a more optimistic outlook.
Thank you. Ulf.
Yeah, thank you for this question. I think one can answer in 3 statements. First, the main problem in the oceans is not climate change, it's overfishing, it's overconsumption. So climate change is adding uncertainty, it's adding additional pressure on the system in ways that we don't fully understand yet. And that might complicate our dealing with the primary problem of overexploitation. The way to deal with this is integrated assessment. And I think currently the practice of fisheries ministers meeting in one place like the European Commission and haggling over annual quotas is severely outdated. We need to move to a more quantitative approach that extends the considerable attention that is invested on the biological side, with millions and millions of euros going into stock assessments, to the socio-economic side, so that we can also transparently, reliably and accountably dealing with the consequences of overfishing in that regard. And once that becomes obvious and transparent, I think the pressure from the public will rise for politicians to act wisely.
Unfortunately, the discussion is really getting to the point where we should continue for 1 more hour, but we ran out of time. So we got a few questions. We will deliver them to the panelists. As expected, there were a large number of questions on GMs. We'll deliver them to Nina. So I would recommend that you look for the panelists during the breaks and discuss your questions with them. I just want once more to thank all the presenters, the panelists, for this very interesting, very good discussion. Thank you.